In this podcast, chat about the defeat against Leeds, look ahead to Cardiff, and chat about Boro's striker Latte Lath. This is the Boro Breakdown podcast, and this is our Boro Matchday chatter in a pod.
Support. Curtis Fleming is there on the edge of the area. Fleming for Craig Hignett. Hit it, Higgy. Higgy hits the treble!
Anfernee coming alive again. Juninho wants the ball played to him. Anfernee spots out Emerson!
Hello and welcome to the Boro Breakdown podcast with Jonny, Dana and Tom. We're the Boro podcast that gives you all of your Boro Matchday chatter in a podcast. And what an absolute bonkers game of football Monday night where Boro got beat 4-3 against Leeds United. A game for me which I thought was just absolutely mental and I couldn't believe it happened, especially the header from Latte Lath. But Dana, Tom, key takeouts from the game last night. Dana, do you want to go first? What was your key takeout?
Yeah, I guess I'm going to keep it quite short and sweet this week. It's basically an extension on last week's key takeout. It's that we're not a million miles away from being a very good side. And if we can retain most of our key assets in the summer, which, touch wood, I think that we actually will do, then I'm excited about our prospects next season and what we can do under Michael Carrick in 24-25.
And Tom, how are you feeling?
Pretty much the same, except I hadn't, given any thought to not having some of these players here next year. I saw a collection of tweets this morning from like Brentford, Palace fans, etc., going, "Oh, we should have a look at that Latte Lath for next season." I'm like, please don't. Please just leave him because we're starting to build somebody. We've got him playing well. Rav van den Berg's really happy here and wants to stay next season, according to his recent interview. For me, Finn Azaz is looking more and more positive every game. I think, like Dan said, we're not a million miles away. And coming out of the stadium yesterday, my main thought was, I can't wait for next season because I think a lot of our players now have either clicked or we can see that they're not the ones for the position and where we need to strengthen.
Yeah, and I think for me, I'm just going to say I enjoyed it, I think, with my key takeout. I think it's just an off-it game of football, and I don't know, when Jones put us ahead, I thought, oh, you know what, maybe we might actually kick on and do something, and then we're 2-1 down, very similarly to the game away from home when Leeds came back within a couple of minutes. And then, I thought the game just spiraled from there, didn't it? It was just a shame that we lost it, but it is what it is. It was kind of nothing to play for. The season's pretty much done. And it is it is dead and buried now. We can't get into anywhere else. So, we have everything to look forward to in the summer. But let's shout out the game then, because Jones put us ahead. Somerville equalised. Bamford, then Latte Lath. Then Somerville, and then Latte Lath at the end. I still absolutely love that header. I think it's amazing. But Dana, what did you make of the game against Leeds?
Yeah, it was exactly what you said, Jonny. It was an enjoyable game of football and stupidly not what I was expecting. I was thinking, oh, surely it can't be as chaotic as the game at Elland Road. But it was. It really was. And it was full of talking points. You had 7 goals, dodgy officiating, a penalty, Latte Lath continuing his goal-scoring hot streak, Patrick Bamford coming back to haunt us at the Riverside, 2 players scoring a brace. And you know what? I was proper gutted in the end that we couldn't equalise and snatch a point. I thought that Howson shot where he unleashed when he drove it at Meslier in stoppage time, I thought that was the moment. I really did. I was about to have an out-of-body experience because can you imagine that? The narrative of a Leeds boy, a Leeds fan, denting Leeds' promotion hopes. Sky Sports would have loved it, but not to be massively gutted in the end that couldn't happen. But as I said, really excited. It's made me really excited about not only next season, but also the remaining 2 games of this season as well, because we still have Cardiff and Watford to play. And when you think about it, we were a competent linesman away from getting a point in that game, which would have been a really good result that continued our unbeaten run. As it is, the end of that, but still a lot of positives to take, and overall a really fun evening of football.
Yeah, and the offside decision. At first, I was like, that's a bit tight. I wasn't 100% sure, but then after when you look back and you just go, fair enough.
Yeah.
But we did a lot of stupid shit last night as well. So I mean, it was just like it was part of the game. Really, I think both teams are doing some mad stuff, which they probably shouldn't have done. The mistakes were there, but there's some also really good football at the same time. It was very odd. But Tom, what was your thoughts as well? You weren't feeling the same enjoyment as other post matches, were you?
No, I think I got did get carried away with the enjoyment during the game, but yeah, I've still come away from that game seeing a loss, seeing me team concede 4 goals. Don't think there's a lot to be happy about. I think as well, I'd gone into the game really detached from this season in general because, like you said, there's nothing left to play for. So I was just kind of like, I turned up and I was like, as long as we don't get absolutely battered and humiliated here, I'm not really after the results. Obviously, while the game's going on, and especially that last 10 minutes where we're chasing an equaliser, I can get carried away with that and, really want us to get something from it. But overall, the result wouldn't have meant anything anyway. So, yeah, probably being quite a downer compared to what you guys have said and what a lot of listeners will be thinking. But yeah, I've still come away from that having seen a loss and having seen my team concede 4 goals. So there's not really a lot I can be happy about other than the fact that we don't give up when we're in those positions and we still have it in us to score goals. I think previous iterations of Boro probably would have lost that about 4-0 and not scored. So that's something at least.
Well, Tom, I just want to kind of ask you something. Now that the season's done and dusted, like in regards to Boro's playoff hopes, they've gone now. Would you not take enjoyment over results? Because personally, for me in that game, I know that we lost, but right now, what I'm wanting to see from Boro is that enjoyment and entertainment value.
I'd want us to end the season on a high and get 2 wins. But like I say, going into the games and watching them, I don't know. It's a bit of a weird feeling because there's nothing riding on it really. So for me, I'm just kind of like, we can't get the playoffs. Sunderland can't finish ahead of us, which would be the only other thing that could kind of make it interesting for me. I'm just kind of like, I want to see us win both games, but also I'd like to see us bring through a few players. Well, not bring through because that'll take longer than 2 games, but give people a chance ahead of next season, which I'm sure we'll talk about kind of at the end of, going on in the podcast anyway. But yeah, I'd still want to see us win and see us continue to develop as a team, really.
Yeah, and I think just in terms of development-wise, Isaiah Jones, been here for another 3 years now, so he's going to be developing with us. And he could, maybe he was using it as a way to increase his price tag. Who knows? But he put Boro 1-0 up. Then it was a little bit different from Boro normally, where we don't really tend to press as high. But does it show what we can do when Boro are pressing up much higher on the pitch and trying to break teams down a lot more quickly?
Yeah, that one and the 2-2 goal as well. I do think it has to be mentioned that with the Isaiah Jones goal, there was a little bit of fortune with Azaz's pass deflecting into Latte Lath's path. But it's something that I really want to see Boro make a key component of their style of play next season. More aggression through the middle third or on the wings, turning the ball over high and attacking quickly. We can do it. We have the attacking options to do it. And we showed it last night. I think this team would probably benefit more and have far greater potential in playing that way than building up patiently and slowly through the thirds. And actually, I mentioned last week about high turnovers, and Boro at the beginning of the season were ranked quite high when it comes to that. And just for the interest of transparency, high turnovers is the number of sequences that start in open play and begin 40 metres or less from the opponent's goal. This season right now, Boro ranks 7th for total high turnovers, 10th for shot-ending high turnovers, and interestingly, 4th for goal-ending high turnovers. So, yeah, something that I want to see from Boro a little bit more next season. I guess have been doing it this season. I should probably rephrase and say I want to see us continue to do it and maybe get better at doing it, is winning the ball up high and attacking quickly, because I think when you give this team, certain players within this team, time to think about something, a lot of the time you can see them make mistakes and make the wrong pass, play the wrong ball, play the wrong type of ball, play it to the wrong player. So yeah, to give them those areas of the pitch where they just need to do things quickly, like Azaz does, for example, a very good player, and just play the pass quite quickly, instinctively almost. I think that would be good to see from Boro next season.
Yeah, for me, we're a transition team, to be honest. Like a team that just likes to get teams on the counter. I think it's just it suits our players probably more than possession based sometimes. But like, I think it's not like saying we're not as dangerous. I think we're more dangerous transition, which most teams are, than we are when we're playing with possession as well. And when we seen that in the second half as well, interestingly, in the first half, it was very much like, punch for punch, and then also like people were trying to really go at each other. But second half leads it off and played a bit of a low block, really. And similarly, what we've seen from a lot of teams this year, where Boro found it really difficult to break teams down when they do sit in and then they get done on the counter, which, Leeds' fourth goal was the epitome of that. But how do you think we can improve on that, Dee?
Well, I think teams playing a low block, they usually play 4-4-2 off the ball, so 2 banks of 4. I think numerical advantage within certain spaces is quite important to negating that. And all of what I'm about to say is easier said than done, but I find this thing quite fun. So please allow me to don my tactical hat for a sec, if you will. I think from Boro, we know that they will push a fullback up the pitch to create a 5-player forward line that consists of the left back, the left winger, the striker, the attacking mid, and the right winger. In turn, this can create a 2v1 against the opposition's right fullback. So they're kind of caught in a little bit of a dilemma. Does the opposition right back engage with Boro's left back, or Boro's left winger that has obviously come inside? I'd quite like Boro to utilise our central midfielders better in these types of situations. For example, shifting O'Brien out wide momentarily to engage the right winger, as Lucas Engel is engaging the right back, with Howson covering O'Brien's space, so that in that right quadrant, in this example, you have a 4v2 in Boro's favour, factoring in our roaming left winger as well. It's a way of disrupting the block, and it gives good options to combine between the 4 and to play in behind into that space behind the fullback. I also think we could benefit from switching the play, first enticing the opposition over to engage with one side of the pitch and then switching it to the opposing side. However, with that, we will need quick play from there, as the opposition could feasibly shift back over. So yeah, there's ways. I think there's quality as well within the team. We could have better options, quite frankly. Our wide players, Silvera, just below the quality that I think we need, and the quality plays a big part as well. But I think how we distribute our players, getting into those spaces in which we can create overloads and numerical advantages, pulling players out of position to essentially create spaces elsewhere, be it through central areas or out wide. It's about trying to shift that low block out of its structure, disrupt it, and then attack it from there. Attack the weaknesses that you basically create through your movement.
Yeah, and you can, like, obviously with all that you can say as well, like there's different things as well you can do. I think when you play off from the back, you want to, if you're playing the ball out wide, you want to have really 2 or 3 passes so you don't get caught. So basically you're playing with like a wall behind you, that's the line. So you don't want to get trapped. So basically at 2 or 3, 4 passes, you want to be switching it from there. So you bring teams out your position. But also there's one thing that you haven't mentioned there, and there was 2 things. There's one, he plays that in between the lines, try and find Morgan Rogers was very, very good at that. But also one which Boro are not very good at all is a set piece. Play for set pieces, balls in the box.
Yeah.
But let's not chat about that because we're not very good at it.
Well, to be fair, I was going to say as well, it's very, I guess it's maybe more of a simplistic thought, something that is kind of grinding my gears recently. But shooting more often actually can disrupt that block because you don't know what you'll get from that. You could have, the keeper parries it, defense is set, but is caught out by that. You never know what can happen if you shoot. It's very simple, very basic, but yeah, could be the case. I think sometimes if you do play the ball quite patiently around like the midfield line, it's just playing into the opposition's hands. So I think there's different ways that you can disrupt a low block, to be fair.
Yeah. Just it's easy. I think football sometimes just about tempo, isn't it? Really, think about it. Good tempo, moving the ball across. That's how you get things done. But let's not say forever we're not tacticals. But it's in terms of Leeds, Tom, they pretty much turned the game on its head. 2 goals in 4 minutes, very similar to one we seen at Ellen Road. They were created on the Boro's right hand side. So poor Anfernee Dijksteel, who I think he had a Western Supermare last night. But I think that was probably our Boro's biggest weakness last night.
Yeah, I'd say so. Looking ahead to this game, even from a few weeks back, I remember putting in the in our group chat like Ayling and Greenwood aren't going to be able to play. Greenwood, I think, is more replaceable than Ayling in the team. Who's going to come in for Ayling? You'd think it would be Dijksteel, but then there's also the option of doing a 5 at the back, and we kind of went with our standard formation, put Dijksteel in. But I think the key thing is, and I don't want to kind of be too harsh on him, even though he did play poorly last night, he's coming in cold. He's not had much match practice at all. It's clear that he's not in favour, and for me, I think he'll be gone in the summer. I don't think he's a player that Carrick wants to use in the team. But like I say, he's coming cold from no match practice at all, and then he's coming up against one of the best attacking sides, if not the best attacking side in the division. And then also on the right-hand side, you've got Jones tracking back to try and help out. But what I will say that I noticed yesterday, we lost a lot of physical battles, either on the wings or in midfield. Isaiah Jones, for a lot of the strengths that he has, I wouldn't say that strength is one of them. I think, when I've seen him winning the ball back, it's generally been being quite quick, getting around someone. I have seen him outmuscle a few people, but it's not that many. And when you've got Dijksteel, who's already struggling, and then you've got a right winger coming back who is more of a kind of slim, slight build, and pace is his strength. It's not strength. Then we were always going to kind of struggle on that side. And it's a shame because I did think, based on what we had under Wilder, we'd still have the link up between Jones and Dijksteel. For me, I think I'm seeing more of a link up between Azaz, Jones, and Latte Lath as well. So I was thinking, maybe they can work quite well together. But Dijksteel, just didn't have a good game yesterday, and I did think, unfortunately, that was the weakest part of our team.
Yeah, for me, I've always thought this. I don't think Anfernee Dijksteel's a right back. It sounds absolutely insane to say that, but given that we bought him as a right back, but like he's always felt more comfortable in a back three and looked better in a back three. One that he has someone with him for extra cover, but also you can play as a 5. And just in that central area, I just think he's more comfortable there. And I've always had that feeling. I wonder what it'd be like in midfield. I've always wondered what he'd be like. But yeah,
just to kind of add something on as well. I said it in our chat last night. Unfortunately, my signal at the Riverside is absolutely horrendous, so I probably didn't go through until after I got home last night. But some of our listeners might know this. If there's some sort of league table for the amount of penalties given away by a Boro player, I wonder where Dijksteel would be in that, because to my living memory, I think he'd be quite high in it. I think I've been to too many games where he's given away a penalty. I think one of the first games he played in, Jonny, me and you went to Blackburn away and he gave away a penalty. I saw, Rotherham away last season. I can't remember if that was a free kick or a penalty. I was at the bar at the time, but I came back and he'd been sent off. And then you got last night as well. I'm sure there's more examples, but I know that I off the top of my head I can't think of any, but I do get the feeling that he's given away quite a few penalties. The one against Man United.
Yeah, Man United. Yeah, he got sent off against Leeds earlier in the season as well. Piran, you know what I mean? Like, I've enjoyed him over these last 4 years. I really have. But maybe this is it. You know, maybe this is it. And
I'm just
he's gonna move
laughing.
to a different club.
I'm just laughing because in our Telegram chat, Green Matt, the iconic Green Matt, said, I wonder who's going to give away a penalty, Luke Thomas or Anfernee Dijksteel. And the prophet that he is, it was Dijksteel. So I guess to add to your narrative there, Tom, and your query, he must have given away enough penalties for people to to basically predict that he will be in that group. And I say group, that 2 people that could potentially give away a penalty in a game.
Yeah, I didn't want to make that sound like a character assassination on Dijksteel or anything, but I'm just kind of I'm sure this has happened quite a few times.
Because he's quite clumsy, isn't he? That's the thing. I think I've really liked Dijksteel over the years, been a big fan of his, but I've always maintained the belief that he is a little bit cumbersome. I think I might have actually used that very word to describe him, but to be fair, I was more describing his ability to bring the ball out from the back. He's one of those insecure dribblers. To be fair, we have quite a few of insecure dribblers in our team. Those types of players that don't look 100%, like the ball's not 100% within their grasp. Can it be within your grasp if it's in your feet? No, but you know what I mean. But yeah, he's always been a little bit on the clumsy side, I'd say.
That's a very football cliches comment that as well. Can
I know, I
it
was
be in the
thinking that
grasp of your feet?
immediately. It can't. It absolutely can't.
Communication
Looks
panel.
like someone playing FIFA, but constantly just hitting the right stick whenever they touch the ball. Just knocking it forward.
Yeah.
Ishmael Miller used to do it and somehow keep hold of the ball all the time. It's just mind blowing to me.
Oh,
yeah,
don't
good
mention
old
Ishmael
Big
Miller.
Ish.
Bad times.
Big Ish. What a guy. Well, that was when you're a real supporter, seeing much enough football. But I mean, speaking of someone else, speaking of forwards, and he could have passed from being a right back last night at some points because he was absolutely everywhere. But Emmanuel Latte Lath, he obviously put it 2-2, and then he got the consolation goal as well. But I just want us to take a trip to the Kneeslide Club, if that's okay, because I feel like there was a fantastic Kneeslide on show from Emmanuel Latte Lath. Then if you've got the clip of it, maybe. Oh, look at this. So he's running over, he's celebrating. Oh, that's lovely. That is
Unbelievable
lovely. That
slow-mo.
Yeah,
We haven't had a lot of knee slides this season, have we, Jonny? So it was good to see that.
Yeah, and you know what I really like about it as well? He glides, but also it's just a little turn as well. I feel like that for
the finishing
me,
move.
Yeah, I think for me that's a perfect knee slide. People might laugh at me and go, "Jonny, you've lost your head." You haven't been on the podcast for a few weeks, and you're coming back and giving people a 10 out of 10 on a knee slide. But show me a better kney slide. Show me a better slide apart from Sol Campbell.
I've got no notes on that. I think it's I would say 10 out of 10. It's that swooping knee slide that I think is my favorite type of knee slide. That's why I gave Marcus Force my favorite knee slide of the year last season. Blackpool away, like that when you swoop into it, like kind of with the arms down as well, like the wings is brilliant.
I was going to say there about the arms, like he didn't utilize the arms at all, or like propel himself forwards or anything like that. They're just kind of like by his side, and it's all in the core of that.
Yeah, and maybe this is a bit of an underrated part of the clip, but what I quite like is Dijksteel, Jones, and Latte Lath all like standing in a line, look like
Yeah.
they're all going to take their own turn of doing a knee slide
Like on pro
together.
clubs.
Yeah, but they all bottled it, like apart from Latte Lath, like like they practiced it in the changes or something, like me and and so you do the knee slide first, and I'll do it, and then Dijksteel will do it as well afterwards, and then we'll be classed up. But I feel like there's only a certain amount of goals though where you can do a knee slide in, because I feel like if you did a knee slide in like when you're getting beat 2-1, it doesn't make sense, does it? Like, but if you start it, I think you can only ever do it in a winner, or you could only ever do it like a late equalizer. It has to mean something. If it doesn't mean something, I feel like the knee slides are relevant.
Or the weather as well. The weather impacts this. Again, we're kind of etching into football cliches territory here, but a knee slide is probably best when the turf's moist, right? You never want a dry knee slide.
Yeah, no one ever wants dry knees, Jen. No one ever wants dry knees, but
you are a bunch of children.
I didn't say that. You're on about moist knees. But speaking of moist knees, Latte Lath, we want to talk about his second goal actually, because that header for me was absolutely sensational. LA Gilbert went full to Gilbert, and that ball over the top, by the way, and just the header. Uno Magnifico for me, but it's going to be not for you. Like, I don't know what you thought of it at the time, Tom, but yeah, I really enjoyed it. Did you enjoy it? Because I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was a great ball. To be honest, I didn't realise until after the match who had played it. I thought it was Howson.
Same, actually. Yeah.
I think I was just about tuning out from the match at that point. I think I was looking down at my phone and I've looked up just in time to see the ball played. And I was like, it's gone too far. And then Latte Lath just jumps out of nowhere and manages to get his head on it. Not only that, but to loop it over the keeper and into the back of the net as well. I was like, where the hell did that come from? But then that's obviously given us enough of a belief in the last, 10 minutes and 9 seconds of the game and no more.
That was ridiculous, that.
Yeah, just mad. But it gave us that belief that we could equalise. And honestly, in that 10 minutes that followed, I thought we were going to get that equaliser. I thought it's going to finish 4-4 here.
I'm just watching it now, and I think my favourite part of the goal, and there's a lot of good things about it, Alex Gilbert's ball, the awareness of Latte Lath, but it's actually the dive of Meslier. It's that desperate, despairing, stretching backwards dive, and then the ball lands in the back of the net. That is a wonderful, wonderful goal. It's such a high quality goal that just really sums up Latte Lath at the moment. He's a striker that is playing so incredibly well. The best that we've seen him play. Scored 9 goals in his last 10 appearances for Boro, and just the ability to get that goal bound despite, he's not even really facing the goal, is he? I'm going to try and see it now. So Gilbert picks up a brilliant position. Yeah, he makes a good run, and as he heads it, he's facing behind the goal. It's an unbelievable goal, and probably my favourite this season, I'd say. How many times can I say goal in a sentence?
Imagine if he'd have scored those 5 1-on-1s against QPR. What goal record he'd be on now? We'd be looking at another person hitting 20.
Well, Bernie be quite Bernie he's scared soon. He'll be shaking his boots. Like, imagine the scenes. Honestly, if someone breaks the record again, I'm just
imagining Bernie and Chuba just packing the stuff up from the Cleveland Centre as Latte Lath.
I was thinking that.
Box sales are going down in the pan. Honestly, but I want to chat about Alex Gilbert for a moment, because for the last couple of games, especially Southampton, the one against Leeds as well, he's for me he's looked like he's really started to show his quality, and he's not being a Gilbert, he's being a Gilbert. So would you like to see more of him, Tom, before the end of the season, and where do you think he'll be next season?
Yeah, I think he deserves a chance towards the end of the season. We've got 2 games which are essentially meaningless in terms of the results. Like I said earlier, I still want to see us win them, but I think he's a player who would give us a good chance of that anyway. After the last couple of games, I really don't want to see Sammy Silvera on the left. I've advocated it for so long, but just stick him on the right. If you're going to put him anywhere, put him on the right and use him as like
Put
an
him on the
impactful or
bench.
something.
Put him on the
on the
bench.
right from the bench, because Jones isn't moving away from the right, and honestly, he only has one thing. Silvera, he just cuts inside and looks for that shot. We've all played against that person at 7-a-side. It's easy to defend against them. Jonny knows that, but
Oh well, yeah. Oh well, yeah.
know what I'm on
Hi, Stan.
But,
Know you're listening.
But
You retire for
that's
3
all he
years.
does. And I found myself last night saying, "Don't shoot." And I don't think I can't remember the last Boro player that I've shouted at to not shoot. Might have been like George Boateng or something. But like, honestly, he had one in the first half where, in one split second, it looked like it was going in the top corner, and then it swerves off into row Z. And I'm just kind of like, how have you hit that? How have you even managed that? But yeah, just drop him out. Realistically, in the last 2 games, there's no point in playing Sam Greenwood. I don't think Greenwood's going to be here next season. We don't need him to kind of like contribute to the results. You may as well give Alex Gilbert a chance to show what he can do, and I'd like to see that in as many kind of other positions as possible as well. AJ Matthews made his debut last night. I'm not suggesting we drop Latte Lath for him or anything like that, because if Latte Lath goes on to score a hat-trick against Cardiff, then 20 goals might be on. But just give him a little bit more of a chance. Same for any of the other youngsters on the bench. You may as well, and get them used to it.
Yeah, I think the only downside, it might become like a financial decision. Sounds ridiculous, but like players get a good chunk of cash for making the debut. So it's like, I wonder if like Boro have kind of got that incorporated to kind of say, well, actually, should we probably do that or not? But just be intrigued to see what the implications would be financially on that. But next season, where would you like to see Alex Gilbert, Tom? And do you think he's actually got think he's going to be at the club, or do you think he'll go out on loan?
I think it's going to have to depend on who we sign over the summer. I was thinking during the match last night, I'd like to see Sammy Silvera loaned out. So it potentially opens up a space in the squad if he is the one to go out. Potentially both of them if we bring in, a couple of people. But Dana, I know you're dying to add something about Silvera.
Dana, you've got a wonderful thing here. You've got a wonderful thing to do here from the meme I sent you yesterday with Jose Mourinho, the headphones.
Oh, yeah.
when he kicked the ball out wide, there was 2 things that went in my mind. I was like, one, the headphones, and so you going, yeah. And then the second one was, wow, that was Dana on Pro Clubs the other night.
It was. Oh my god, it actually was. Oh no, yeah, I've become what I hate. No, that was bad.
Yeah.
Let's not talk about that.
Yeah, I think to the listeners and viewers as well. So we're playing Pro Clubs at the minute, mainly just me, you, and Matt at the moment. Tom hasn't got the game yet, but hint, Tom. But we called our team Club de Football Options Dawn, and we play some good stuff, don't we? There's got Matt Rowney on the right, because hasn't changed his name. You got the Sausage Man up front, and Jim Coxon centre defensive mid. So I mean, I tell you what, if you want to watch it, maybe we do a series in the summer. Who knows? But you became the Sammy Silvera of Club de Football Options Dawn. So
honestly, I will say with Sammy Silvera, I'd love nothing more than for him to shut up my dislike of his performances, but I can't put a lid on it. I just think he's bad. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I'm going to be honest. I just think he's really, really, really poor. And I don't think that about a lot of Boro players, because I at least see something in them. I don't see anything with Sammy Silvera. I haven't since pre-season. So kill me, shoot me. I've been critical over a Boro player, but I can't see anything. I think he's probably a League One standard player, to be honest. And you think about the teams that were linked with him. Yeah, when we signed him, it was Plymouth and a Scottish team, right? It was like St Mirren maybe or something like that. Yeah, it's like kind of, yeah, it basically paints a picture.
I feel like you just don't want to associate yourself with Sammy Silvera because of your pro club character, personally. Yeah,
No.
I think Sammy Silvera needs to go on loan and prove why we bought him. And there you go. And you could say it that way. That's a much nicer way of saying it. But no, you've ruined his hopes and dreams, and ruined our chance of getting him on the podcast.
To be fair, I did say that. Like, I'd love nothing more than for him to shut me up and prove me wrong. I'm not the only person that thinks it. I will say that.
Anyways, but I think it's good.
I'm the same. Like, I want every Boro player to succeed. There's no point in having an agenda against your own player or anything like that. We should all want every Boro player to succeed. But at the moment, 100%. He's not. And, if Alex Gilbert has done enough in his sub appearances to at least earn a starting place for the next couple of matches, in my opinion.
Well, it's probably a good time to announce our next guest on the podcast. Sammy Silvera coming on next week. No, he's not really. He's actually definitely not really. That is, please don't take that literally. But probably the final question I got for you before moving to the praise and place. I think I know who's not going to be in Dana's praise and place. But the first time we conceded 4 goals, obviously last night. First time since the 4-2 defeat to West Brom. Remember that in August? That feels like ages ago. But if you could replay that game, what would you like to see different to what we did previously?
I'd like to see us be stronger in those central areas. I know that we were massively up against it out wide. We were poor out wide. That was our key weakness. But I feel like a lot of the moves that Leeds created that ended up out wide came from central areas. And in 2 of the 4 goals that we conceded, we conceded possession and not gave up duels. We were weak in duels in the central part of the pitch. O'Brien and Howson, I thought in the first half they struggled. O'Brien improved in the second, so he redeemed himself. But God bless Jonny Howson. He must have thought it was 2010 because he was playing for Leeds at times yesterday. He kept losing the ball. He kept losing the duels. I don't know what goal it was because there's just so many goals and I'm not used to it. But it was the Bamford one. No, it wasn't the Bamford one. It was the Nonto one and the Somerville one. So the 3-2 and the 4-2. We conceded possession in central areas, and it was Howson for one of them. And then we had a duel in the middle of the park for the other one, which it was a 50-50 because Bamford played, this was the Somerville goal actually, Bamford played a loose ball in field and it was a 50-50 between O'Brien and Jorginho Ruter. And O'Brien slides in, and as he slides in, Clark pushes up and it leaves us massively exposed because if O'Brien loses that duel, there's space there to attack it behind. As it was, he lost that duel and then Leeds spring in the attack was in that space that was vacated essentially. So yeah, we needed to be stronger in that middle area of the pitch for me, and obviously out wide as well. But I was getting quite frustrated. Although I was enjoying the game, I was also getting quite frustrated with how weak we were against the ball in central areas. So that was like, yeah, if the game was replayed, I would have liked to have seen us win more of those duels, be a little bit more aggressive, keep the ball better, retain possession better, look after it better. We didn't do that, and it undid us for 2 of those 4 goals.
Tom, I don't know if you've got anything about that, but I think for me, it's just a case of, don't get him in that net and score on the other one. Way, lads. So I don't know if you've got anything else to add to it, to be honest. But for me, I think defensively better. I think it's just kind of like the key term I think anyone wants to talk about. But
yeah, I think the thing is, Leeds have lost a couple of games this season. I think it was Sunderland and Blackburn, the examples that were given from what I saw last night. and they were both playing kind of quite conservative football in an effort to keep Leeds out and win the game. The context of that game last night mattered because we had nothing to play for in terms of the league. So in that context, I'd rather we kind of stuck with the same formation and tactics that we have last night, because we've got our style of play, and I want to see us continue to develop in that ahead of next season. I want us to bring through players into this style of play who, or develop the ones who are already there, and have one eye on next season while we're doing it. So it doesn't come down to kind of like entertainment for me or anything. I'd love if we could replay that game again in the same way and we win 4-3, for example. But if that game was worth something, I'd have rather we stuck with. Well, I'd rather we went with a different plan, as we've seen Carrick do a couple of times this season. Leicester being the main example, and we play more solid football and try and grind out a win. Given the context of the game and what it was and what it meant to us compared to what it meant to Leeds, I'm happy with the formation we went with last night and the tactics that we played. It wasn't to be, and we were playing, like I say, a stronger team. And I don't mind saying that because I don't really care about Leeds, to be honest. I'm the wrong side of the river to be caring about Leeds, but yeah. I don't want to say I wouldn't change anything, because obviously I'd love us to do better in the duels that we were losing, and getting turned so quickly at the back and stuff. But it would have always been difficult for us. Maybe if during the summer we can just add like big horrible bastard of a centre midfielder who was going to win those duels and a bit more pace in the areas that it mattered, then replay that game a year later and we might have a much better chance. But yeah, like I said, because it didn't mean anything to us in the league, I'm more than happy that we stuck to our system and tried to beat them using that.
All right then. Well, let's move on. Let's chat. Let's chat and talk and praise and do all that fun stuff. It's time for the praise and place. Yes, the praise and place, the only place I like to give praise to a player, coach, or staff member. Dana's new tattoos, Tom's wonderful hair, and all of us being back together again. How nice is that? What the sleevish one? No,
I've had it for about 3 months.
Really? Well,
you were away. You were sunning it up in Barbados, so you hadn't a clue, mate.
Yeah, well, I see, and you always wear long sleeves, so that's why I've not seen it.
It's true.
So,
yeah.
True. You've absolutely ruined my intro to the praise and place there, but thanks for that. I guess who's not in my praise and place this week? Tom Green, I'll come to you first. Who is in your praise and place this week?
Sammy Silvera? No, it's not. For me, it's Latte Lath, because I don't think you can have a praise and place without mentioning Latte Lath this week. What is it now? 6 goals in his last 7, or is it even more than that?
9 in his last 10.
9 in his last 10. Yeah, he's been doing outstandingly well. Picked up this good run of form. Hopefully, he can keep this going into next season, because looking ahead to the next couple of games and where we could potentially finish, we could have signed a striker that no one had ever heard of before this season. And being realistic, they've probably got like 1 in 100 people who might have heard of him because they've signed him from St. Gallen on FIFA or Atlanta or wherever he was at. Was it St. Gallen?
Yeah, he was on loan, but we got him from Atlanta.
Yeah, I knew he was on loan, but I didn't. I just thought I've just named a random Swiss club there. It might not have even been them, but we've signed someone who not a lot of people had heard of before. Same with Rav van den Berg, and they've come more than good this season. And Latte Lath could be looking at a return of 15 plus goals for this year for his first season in the Championship. So the scouting team also deserve to be in the praising place for the find there, because that is one hell of a signing, clearly, and yeah, hopefully he can continue that on to next year. And as a second and third star for praising place, I'd also like to mention Finn Azaz and Isaiah Jones. Like I said earlier, I think the three of them have got a good kind of connection / bond building up front. It seemed a lot of the time when Azaz got the ball, he knew exactly where Jones was going to be, or sometimes it was Latte Lath as well. I think the majority of the time it was Jones, and he was playing those overlapping balls. I'd like to see kind of more development between those three and see what they can bring next season.
Well, what do you think, Dana? Who's in your praising place?
Yeah, I'm going to go with whoever scouted Latte Lath. I will never take lightly Boro finding a striker that actually scores goals, because I can assume that that's quite difficult to do, or maybe not difficult to do, but difficult to bring in a striker to the club that scores goals, because a lot of the time when there are known goal scorers, particularly in the EFL and particularly in the Championship, they're courted by the parachute payment teams. Who was it? Oh my God, Tom Cannon. I was going to say Troy Parrott. Tom Cannon and Leicester. So yeah, to the person who was sat watching St. Gallen games and decided that Latte Lath was worth a bid, thank you. And also, I want to mention a moment in the game yesterday, which I really quite enjoyed. And it was Alex Bangura's tackle on one of the quickest players in the league, Dan James, because I was thinking this is surely the fifth goal. Absolutely not. Bangura with his whimsical comedic, fucking hell. You could tell it's late in the day. We're ending the season soon. Comedic run-in style. Gets in there. Really good tackle. Wins the ball. And I quite enjoyed that. So, yeah, Alex Bangura is an interesting one because I would quite like to see more of him next season, certainly.
Yeah, I think I would probably like to see him in the next game, to be honest. Then I think more short term, end of the season, finish on a high. He had a bad injury against Chelsea, and for him to come back as well. He's had a really difficult season this year, Alex Bangura, in terms of injuries, but you can definitely see there's quality there. And for me, I'm going to go with obviously one, Latte Lath. I think he has to be in there, but then two, I'll go for Gilbert, Alex Gilbert. I think he's been really good. The last few games he's came on, he's influenced games, and that's all you can ask for someone who's finding it hard for minutes. And I think he's now surpassed, 100 minutes in a Boro shirt this season. So congratulations to Alex. But also contributing to goals, and all he needs now, Dana, is to score against Cardiff or Watford, and you never know. You will have a good prediction.
Imagine, and honestly, imagine if that happens in the final two games of the season. How I have plucked that out of the rear end of someone's rear end is ridiculous, because that prediction was really, really bold. So if that actually comes to fruition, I'd love it.
Yeah, well, I've got Adam Reach vibes from remember when he came on as a sub and then he scored the last goal of the season or something. It was in a 3-0 win or something.
Kevin Thompson assisted it, actually.
There you go. When he wasn't injured every game, Kevin Thompson.
I love that you can remember that, Tom.
You know why I can remember it is because I was in college at the time, and I was doing a project in A-level PE where I had to talk about different parts of my football game and why a professional footballer was better than me. And for passing, I picked Kevin Thompson. And I don't know why I picked Kevin Thompson. I think I was a really big fan of him from Footy Manager at the time. He used to bang in screamers from 25 yards out on Footy Manager, which I'm sure the real Kevin Thompson's never even dreamed of. But yeah, I had to do a full kind of analysis on Kevin Thompson's range of passing and why he was so much more of a better passer of the ball than I am. So when he got that assist, I was like, "See, I was right," but no, I wasn't.
I would back you to thread a perfectly weird through ball to a striker over Kevin Thompson.
Oh no, then I've seen Tom play. No.
Okay, I retract that statement then. You must be bad.
Back then, I was an inverted left winger. I was what you hate. I was Sammy Silvera.
Tommy Greenbearer. Anyway, let's move on. Let Boro go to Stoke. They're not Stoke, Cardiff. Oh my god, my head fell off.
We are losing several brain cells on this podcast, guys. Bear with us.
Look, it's been a long day. It's been a
Where
long
did
day.
You're not going to get me out in Cardiff tonight.
Because we were on about Stoke earlier, I think. Because Silvera, we're on about Stoke who's linked, and then it's popped in my head. See, that's what happens when you've got a really weird brain. Anyway, Boro got to Cardiff in search for a win that will mean absolutely nothing, to be honest. Maybe some financial gain at the end of the season, a bit of pride in a game which is now known as a dead rubber. I don't know really what consists of a dead rubber, but here we are. But what's the first thing that comes to mind when we think about Cardiff, guys? I'm thinking Cameron Archer's goal last season. I feel like that was a good one, but I don't know what you guys have got in terms of memories of Cardiff away.
It's Richie Smallwood scoring in a 3-0 away win.
Richie Smallwood.
We know that.
Richie Smallwood.
He was Richie Smallwood after that game. I think it was his first goal for the Boro, but no, it was. I think it was a 3-0 win. It was quite a while ago. It was another game that didn't mean anything at the end of the season. But I remember Richie Smallwood scoring in that game. I hadn't mentioned him in my A-level PE, but I think it was around the same time. I'm sure he can probably hit a ball better than I can.
Dana, have you got any fun memories of Cardiff?
Well, this one ain't fun, but it's Ashley Fletcher scoring an own goal within the first 2 minutes of the game, and that being the only goal of the game under Tony Pulis. So that was fun.
So congratulations to Ashley. So hopefully, Dana, you're gonna predict something a bit better this time around. Do you think we'll win, lose, draw, match abandoned, match not even to be played? What do you think?
Yeah, you know what? I'm dying to give one of those crazy predictions where someone just randomly says 5-0 out of the blue. I think Tom had his. Was it you that said it? Oh, yeah, it was Tom.
It was
that
me
gave
that
the
said
first
it about
prediction.
Swansea at home.
Yeah, because it's that part of the season, isn't it? This part of the season where it kind of can go a little bit bonkers. We already had a bonkers game yesterday, but you know what? I'm gonna go. No, I'll leave it for the Watford game. I think 2-1 to Boro against Cardiff.
Tom, oh my god.
3-0 Boro. Latte Lath to score. Matt Clark to score. And Richie Smallwood. No, not Richie Smallwood. AJ Matthews to come off the bench and score.
I want to go with Richie Smallwood, Richie Latte Lath,
Kevin Thompson.
Scotty.
Kevin Thompson, Scotty, and Hamilton Rickard.
Abel Xavier.
Actually, I'm going to go 2-0, actually. I'm going to go 2-0. Latte Lath hat-trick, I think. 2-0 Latte Lath hat-trick.
Anyway. Latte Lath hat-trick.
I'm so glad you caught on there. Anyway. Right, I'm wrapping things up. I've had enough. So, listeners and viewers, thank you very much for watching and listening. Don't forget to give us a 5-star rating and subscribe to Boro Breakdown Podcast channel. But Boro got Cardiff on the road to the 7th position. But if we win, there's no way you're getting me out in Cardiff on the Saturday night. This has been the Boro Breakdown Podcast, and that was my Boro Match Day chat in the pod. Up the Boro.